Welcome to today's episode of r/today I ducked up tifu by saying the dumbest thing I've ever said to one of my students. Background: I'm a high school physics and engineering teacher. This happened 8 hours ago. Today, with my computer tucked under my arm, I'm asked by a student to sign off a project he was working on, which, formally, requires my signature to make it official. I grabbed my pen and realized that I couldn't sign without dropping my computer. So, I said, "Hey, can you hold down that paper? I don't have a hand." It was at the point that my stomach dropped off a cliff, because the student I asked to help me literally doesn't have a hand. He literally has a nub on the end of his left arm. No palm, no fingers, no hand. And what do I say? I say, in essence, "Hey, no hand person. When I say I don't have a hand, really I do, but I'm just holding something with it which you can never do but I can do, and I'm saying I don't have one. But I do, and you don't." The dude even uses his non-hand arm to pin down the paper while I sign, as if to say this is what not having a hand is. Dumbus. Long, awkward pause. Dilemma. Do I acknowledge my dumbassery, or do I walk away and then move to Canada immediately? I decide to go for it and call myself out for being stupid. Thankfully, he's understanding. He makes a few jokes and tells me it happens all the time and brushes it off with complete grace. Turns out he's the coolest dude ever, and if I haven't mentioned it before, I'm an enormous dumbus. Too long didn't read. Asked a kid without a hand to help me because I don't have a hand because I was carrying something, and because I'm a dumbus. Tifu by letting my son take my wife's menstrual cup for show and tell. My wife is working out of town for a couple weeks. Sometime over the weekend I noticed my son playing with this little silicone cup that kinda looked like a tulip. I asked him what it went to and what it did, and he proceeded to show me its versatility. Over the next few days it helped the Paw Patrol save the town. It was a treasure chest holding tiny pebbles guarded by pirates, a force field protecting a spaceship. It came with us to the park, grocery shopping, and even out to dinner one night. I loved that it had its own little satchel and assumed it just went to her play set. Fast forward to this morning, and as we're getting ready for school, Alexa reminds us that it's show and tell today at school. So my son grabs his little silicone cup and off to school he goes. I pick him up after school and his teacher asks to speak with me. My son looks happy, so I figure he's not in trouble. Or if he is in trouble, he did something cheeky that he's proud of. Our conversation: "Teacher, Ben's show and tell was interesting." Me: "Yay, it's cool, right? We've been playing with that thing for days." Teacher: Mr. Scott, do you know what that is?" I start to panic. Oh shit, it's not a toy. Teacher: "That is a menstrual cup." I get confused. Teacher notes my confusion. "It's used to collect menstrual blood." I'm still confused. Teacher: "It goes inside and collects blood." Me: "It just stays in there?" She nods. Me: "Are you sure? I don't think that would fit too comfortably there." Teacher: "Oh, it folds in half then springs open inside." We're both clearly uncomfortable. Me: "Alright then, so where do I get a replacement, because my wife will probably not be too pleased when she returns home and will not want to continue using this one." My wife laughed hysterically when we told her. My son is none the wiser and is having a tea party with the cup right now. TLDR thought my wife's menstrual cup was a toy and my son and I played with it all weekend, then he took it for show and tell. Edit. Row. I cannot believe this got so much attention. I'm glad everyone got a good laugh. A bit uncomfortable hearing some co-workers discussing this and then pretending to read it for the first time so they wouldn't know it was me, though. My wife has been reading the comments and insisted that I clarify that I know all about her cycle. But we are TTC currently, and just as it was with our son, I know when she's ovulating. I track her cycle with her and, with our son at least, sometimes help give her the hormone shots. I grew up with 4 sisters and the only devices I was aware of for periods were to absorb the blood, not collect it. I was also confused by it fitting because, like I said, this device helped save a chickaletta over the weekend. I've seen a tampon, they're much slimmer than this cup is. My wife assures me it fits just fine and she doesn't even feel its presence after its IM position. I'd like to try to upload a picture of the cup in the back of a tractor with a chicken riding in it, but I'm waiting on my wife's approval. Reminded me of a boy in my son's first grade class. The little entrepreneur was selling telescopes for a nickel each and sold out. Sadly, they were his mother's used tampon applicators. Tifu by teaching my children not to fight, but to work together. Almost 2 years ago now, 2 kids, boys, 5 and 4, fight like cats and dogs, anything to annoy the other and start to fight. Grab a random object and throw it at the other when dad isn't looking kind of thing. One day I'm cleaning up the kitchen and the ruckus is extreme. I interject and sit them both down for a long talk about how much better things can be if they cooperate instead. At the end of it, I went back into the kitchen and resumed cleaning. A remarkable length of quiet while later, the 4-year-old comes to me. 4-year-old, Dad, come see what I made. Grabbing my hand, me, sure, let's see. He leads me to their room to the corner table where they have art supplies, and points to the papers on the table. He likes to draw and I encourage it when I can. What I see on the table however, are just random scribbles. Me, is this what you wanted to show me? I pick up the paper and check both sides. Just a few random scribbles. Me, that's great buddy, but why don't you come get me when it's finished? I put the paper down and turn to walk. 4-year-old, no, Dad, look, pointing at the papers. Okay, maybe I missed one. I look through them again. No, just scribbles. I'm still looking at them when suddenly, 4-year-old grabs the papers from my hand and tosses them back on the table. 4-year-old, okay Dad, I'll show you later. You can go. Pushing me towards the door. I'm a little confused. He's not like this usually. I pause outside their room, and when I do, I hear the crinkle of cellophane. My boy's room is off the hallway leading to the stairs down to the basement. The stairs to the basement are crinkling. I poke my head around the corner of the staircase and there is 5-year-old with a package of Oreos clutched to his chest. He looks at me with big eyes and I just hold out one hand and point with the other. I took the package and he walked by right as I couldn't hold my dad face any longer. See, the Oreos were on top of the refrigerator. So what has happened is 4-year-old baited me, while 5-year-old got a chair from the dining room, carried it to the kitchen to retrieve the loot, then put the chair back and hid. This has to have been meticulously plotted. I'm a mix of horrified and proud. I had to quickly put dad face back on to tell them to not sneak treats and to now clean their room. Then I left the room and had a brief what have I done moment back in the living room. Too long didn't read. My kids went from the Animaniacs to Pinky and the Brain. Tifu by being too horny to notice something had gone horribly wrong. NSFW. Well, this didn't happen today, but it's a funny story that I couldn't share with Reddit at the time. Rewind back to me at 14 years old, awkward, naive, constantly horny and still oblivious to the fact that websites dedicated to porn existed. As such, my attempts at finding stimulating material usually resulted in me typing boobs and butts and thongs into Google search and then immediately deleting my history. One night, to avoid watching TV with my dad, his wife and her 2 kids downstairs, I claimed that I had homework to do. Of course, this was a lie. I just wanted boobs and butts and thongs and some private time. So I fired up the old desktop, got Internet Explorer up and running, went straight to Google and started getting my freak on. Now this is where things went wrong. I got horny and forgot the layout of my house. You see, my bedroom was upstairs and I had no door. A sort of spiral staircase, think straight edges though, led up to my open room, which was located almost directly above the living room, where, again, my dad, his wife, and her 2 kids were watching TV. The desktop was right next to the staircase, but I figured that the TV was loud enough to mask the sounds of my sins. I was right, but what I didn't account for was the big white wall, directly to my right, that the staircase adjoined, and how it was visible from the living room. I also didn't register that the reading lamp on my nightstand, which was turned on and so very bright, was to my left and pointed directly at me. I eventually did notice, however, that the TV downstairs had gone quiet and that no one in the living room was talking. And that's when I turned to my right and looked at the wall and realized that I was casting a giant shadow puppet of me masturbating across its entire length. A perfect shadow projection of my penis and hand stretched across its surface. and I had no idea how long ago the people downstairs had noticed it, so I did what anyone would do in that situation. I put my dong away, as did my shadow puppet, pulled up my pants, walked into my bathroom and sat there until I heard the TV come back on. Then I went to bed without saying a word and left early for school the next day. No one ever brought it up, and I'm thankful, but I know what they saw, and I'm still cringing. Too long didn't read, got horny, got stupid, projected a masturbating shadow monster for my whole family to see. Still embarrassed. Edit. Well shit. Glad you all are enjoying this funny little moment. 14-year-old me would be mortified. Edit. Holy duckle mayo. I'm proud and ashamed of how much you all liked this. Tifu by ripping my foreskin apart with a ceiling fan. Mandatory not today but 20 years ago. I am 16 and horny. We didn't yet have the internet and this was still the days of searching nearby woods for scattered magazines held together by men along reins. It was also the days of waiting for your mom to go to the grocery store and using your free time to try to find literally anything new in the house to have sex with. This was one of those days. My mom left for the grocery store and I had an idea. Duct tape a toilet paper roll filled with wet toilet paper to my penis. Make sure it's really tight. Then create a rope from duct tape and wrap it around the blade of the ceiling fan. Sit on one side of the ceiling fan and as the blades spin, it will pull and release the tube. Brilliant. All starts well as I sit on a desk chair below the fan. A bit slow, but working, so I turn it up. I start to notice that since there is no swivel, the duct tape is twisting and shortening. It's pulling violently on my pubes and skin. I can't get the ducking thing off. Duck. I stand up to buy myself time. Shut off the fan. Pull the string and wait. Oh duck. Still going. I'm on my tippy toes and my pubes are ripping. I pull the string and the fan begins to slow, but it's still twisting. I slam my hand into the fan to stop it. The fan breaks out of the ceiling, but I'm free. As I unpackage my pleasure tube, I find I'd ripped a fistful of pubes out. My foreskin was twisted like an Indian sunburn, checkered with blood and tears, and the head of my penis is a ghostly grey. It took 24 hours for the penis head to turn from mayonnaise to plum. My penis basically molted over the next 3 weeks, growing a new layer of penis over the old penis. I still have a long white scar down the shaft that has no feeling. Good times. Too long didn't read. Duct taped my penis to a ceiling fan and ripped my pubes and foreskin apart. Edit. Change some words. Edit. I want to be clear how this was supposed to work. I am sitting off center of the fan on a chair with my penis taped to the edge of one fan blade. The tape is slack. As the blade moves away, the tape becomes taut and rips my dong right off. I can't even make a directions unclear joke. You attached your dong to a ceiling fan intentionally. Instructions unclear, dong stuck to fan. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content. It's free and that's a great price.